So there's another concept that you need to understand with EBS, and that is the instance store. So the instance store is slightly different to the EBS volume. So we have our EC2 host server, and as you know, EC2 instances are virtualized, so they run on an underlying physical server that has physical hardware. You then actually connect to your EBS volume over a network using a network adapter. But the instance store volumes are actually physically attached to the host, and they offer really high performance. So they're used for certain use cases where you need very high performance with extremely low latency. Now, that's different to EBS volumes because they're over a network. Now, you can get very good performance from EBS volumes, amazing performance really, but you can get, for certain use cases, better performance out of an instance store. The problem with an instance store volume is it's what's known as ephemeral storage, and that means the data is lost when you power down your instance. So if you shut down your EC2 instance and start it up again, all the data is going to be gone. So it's useful for some use cases, like when you have temporary data that you can rebuild. So if you shut down your instance and lose the data, it can be rebuilt again. Otherwise, you would definitely need to make sure your data is backed up or replicated. But you might use it for use cases where you need that level of performance. So remember, EBS is persistent storage and instance store is non-persistent. Now let's go into the console and I'll show you where instance store volumes are. When we launch an instance, and let's just choose Amazon Linux 2 AMI, we're not actually going to launch this one, but here we go, we have the instance types, and you'll see we have EBS storage, so you can see that these particular instance types here are EBS only, so they only have EBS volumes. But when we come down, we see that there are some instance types that have something else attached to them, and that is an instance store. So by default, when you launch one of these instances, you will get 4 900 gig SSDs. So let's go forwards, click through to storage, and you can see that here they are, and it mentions that they're ephemeral storage. So you're going to lose the data on those if you shut it down. Now these come as part of the instance price. So when you look at your instance price, if it's acceptable for your use case, then you might consider that actually having these extra drives here is quite useful because you don't pay additionally for them, whereas you do for EBS volumes. That's it for this lesson. Just wanted to make sure you understand what an instance store is compared to an EBS volume.